What's going on, guys? Matt Schaeffer back here with another Musaic audiophile build for you. This one is a Hi-Fi 3 Plus in a BMW M5, so let's go ahead and check it out. So we kept this one pretty simple considering there's not a lot of real estate ever to work with in these cars. So starting you off with the trunk, we have our subwoofer enclosure here. Essentially this is going to be an up-firing 13 TW5 JL audio. It's going to be the flatline subwoofer, 13-inch, and we have the amplifiers underneath the enclosure. So essentially this is going to be the full sub enclosure. The full amp rack amps are going to be accessible by removing this front panel that's magnetically attached. And we have a lot of the design elements, the pops of red that you find on the interior of this car. This is the CS version of the M5, so it's going to be the weight reduction version. Of course, all of the stuff that we created subwoofer enclosure with is going to be made out of Baltic birch, so very lightweight. Also, we used a lot of this trim here is going to be PVC composite, and it's going to be very lightweight as well. So again, this is not like solid MDF that's going to weigh 1,000 pounds and really drag this thing down. So not a lot of weight added here. You have the trim, you have the upper trim here. You can see it's labeled JL Audio there on the grille. And what we had to do in this specific car, if you can see it, it's kind of hard, but we carpeted the top here. It's fully sound treated, carpeted, and then there are natural vents openings that you can see there in the back. So air can move through those little holes. It goes underneath the rear deck. And then we removed the speakers in the rear deck to create a pass-through. And then we also created our own pass-through in the center to allow more air to escape and not have so much pressure being built up here in the trunk, because this specific model of BMW, it has like the racing bucket seats in the back. So there is no pass-through. There is no area right here normally, which you would find in BMWs, to just pop that down and let all that, that vent for all the air pressure to come through the trunk. So we have to relieve that pressure, or else the sub is going to sound terrible. So we had to do what we had to do. I will show you the vent pass-through that we had to create on the inside. But again, this is the front of the enclosure. We can remove this here, again, magnetically attached. You have your 3 locking magnets there that go into this panel. And then you can kind of see it. I can also overlay a picture here of what the amps look like, but we have a Helix V12 DSP amplifier that is going to run the front 3-ways active, run the rear speakers active, and then the output for the subwoofer, which is going to be there, or actually right here, which is going to be the Helix P1 amplifier that's going to power this 13 TW5. We can get to the front of both amps there. So if we have to check power, service, anything, we can easily do that. The subwoofer is bolted down through inside the enclosure. So there's a bolts that lag down to our amp rack here underneath. In order to remove this fully, we'd have to pop out the top grill, unscrew the subwoofer out of the box, and then we would have our 2 quarter 20s that lag that down to the bottom of this amp rack here. I will then remove this. And now we have our access quickly to our battery, our fusing, our circuit breaker. Everything's super easy to get to there. Of course, you can see we fully sound treated everything before we put everything back together. So super easy, super functional, and we still have room to put in groceries, golf clubs, whatever you need. And we use the same dynamic suede that matches the interior to match the back here. Now for the interior, pretty straightforward, pretty simplistic. As far as the mid-bass woofers underneath the seats, we use the Helix i5 mid-bass drivers. These are the 8-inch mid-bass drivers in the 3D printed plate that's going to house it directly to this opening here. I believe it's a dual 2 or a dual 3 ohm woofer. So essentially there's 2 channels to each mid-bass woofer underneath the seat to give it double the power. So that's how we're utilizing the Helix V12 amplifier to get the most power to the equipment that we have here. We have a set of Focal Utopia M 3.5-inch mid-range, which are in a 3D printed bracket that mounts it perfectly behind the door panel in the OEM location. And then of course up top in the sail panel, we had to modify that, reshape the inside of it to house the Focal Utopia M TBM tweeters. So all factory locations with this car, under seat, mid bass woofer, mid range in the door, tweeter in the sail panel, no center in this one. We basically tuned it for stereo, and it's mixed so it sounds like, of course, there's a large center channel here in the dash. And then of course we have the rear door speakers, no rear deck speakers as we talked about. So this is going to be the rear deck pass-through that we created. This is going to be a stamped grille that we made from scratch, and again, it's cut, pressed through this rear deck, allowing air movement to move from here, and also the factory grills there. That way there's not an overbuild of pressure in the back. And then, like always guys, we have our Helix conductor controller, which is set up right here. If we look at this, it is programmed with the same color lighting in the dash. So if you have a different car with different color lighting, you can program the volume color to correlate with just that. Again, Helix conductor, we created this little mount here to kind of mimic the same design that you see here in the console. We have the silver trim, which matches the other silver trim that you can see all along the console. We have a smoked layer of acrylic above the controller, which is going to give you that nice OEM looking glow of the LEDs, where you're not seeing the raw controller. It looks all completely built in. And of course we created a new knob, not the Helix knob, to just kind of set it off. We also did a radar and laser system, which we'll do in another video. I will show you the breakdown of all that, so if you're interested in that, stay around for the end of the video to get that walkthrough on that radar and laser system. So yeah, back to the controller. Essentially, like every car that we do, we have multiple presets. Preset 1 is going to be the OEM radio. Everything that is the OEM radio will work through this controller. Now there is no interface for this car at this exact moment. There is one coming out in a month maybe. So there is no digital input from the radio that we can use at the moment. So right now we're using the analog out from the factory amplifier, which in all cases really doesn't matter much because we always do our preset number 2, which is going to be the HEC BT Bluetooth input into the Helix V12 DSP amplifier. Now that's going to give us a perfect digital handshake from our phone directly to the DSP, and it's going to allow the best connection possible from our phone into our audio system. And why this is important and why it's really functional with the car is you can be Bluetooth connected and Wi-Fi connected to the factory CarPlay, right? So you can be connected simultaneously to the Bluetooth source in the DSP and then also the car. So you can use the screen and CarPlay exactly how it was intended from the factory. All of that stuff is utilized exactly how it was before. However, the audio is being diverted directly to the DSP for the best audio. The Bluetooth chipset inside the DSP is going to be much more superior than that of what is in this radio. You know, they're not going to use good DACs, they're not going to use good Bluetooth chipset in the factory radio, so you are going to get a better connection on preset 2. It's always going to sound better on preset 2 versus preset 1. As far as preset 3 goes, that's going to be the input to our Astel & Kern high-res player. All right, so this is going to be some of the best DACs in the world. It's going to be great at breaking down the digital file format. It can play higher resolution file formats. And why this is important is most times, like from an iPhone, the output is going to be limited to that of somewhat of CD quality. Now, on some songs that have been remastered, like this song that you're seeing here, is in DSD. The reason I don't go digital out of these players is because I wouldn't be able to play the DSD from this player. The DSP is not going to be able to process DSD. Therefore, if I go digital out, I cannot play any DSD or anything higher than that of what the DSP is capable of processing is going to be our limitation. So when I go analog out of this, not only am I using the DACs of this, but I'm also being able to play anything that this player can handle, right? So I know that's a big question that I get asked all the time. Why do you go analog out? It's for multiple reasons, not just that of being able to play DSD. So yeah, these players are great. Anyone that gets in here, if we go through the different presets, preset 1, 2, and 3, and then I play this, it's almost like you don't want to play the others anymore. So this is really going to show what the system is physically capable of. That's why these are so important. And again, it's not just your car player. You can bring it on an airplane, you can travel with it, play it on your home receiver. So again, this is a great tool to have for multiple areas of your audio system. So again, it's going to work with you through multiple different systems, not just one car. You can also have all your regular streaming stuff like Tidal, Apple Music, Pandora, Spotify, Sirius, all that kind of stuff you can play through here, which again is going to be superior through here versus your phone. Then other than that, like I said, we fully sound treated the doors, behind the doors, all of the different areas to fully make this thing a resonance-free environment, which again on this car it is a CS version. So again, it's the stripped back version to reduce weight. Obviously we had to add some weight there to create a solid environment to listen to the audio system, which again, it's not like we're adding 100 pounds to this car. So again, it's just a little bit of weight here and there in order to really deaden the resonance that you would find with an audio system pushing this much pressure within the car. Sweet and to the point. Thank you guys so much for following along with all these videos. If this is your first video you've seen here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that alert bell letting you know anytime we drop a new video. We drop plenty of videos like this. We have a long history collection of different videos, whether it's radar, laser, or full audio systems. Go ahead and check them out on the channel. If you want to get a hold of me for a job, here's my phone number followed by my email address. These are the two best points of contact for me. Reach out and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. I'll drop a lot of videos on there before they make it out to YouTube. Most times you're seeing a video 4 or 5 months after I did it, just because that's how much work it takes to edit these videos and get them out. So make sure you follow us on TikTok and also Instagram if you want to see the work that we do before it makes it to YouTube. Check out our website, musaicdesign.com. This is going to be the best resource to see the full collection of cars that we've done, found in one easy to find spot. You can search by make, manufacturer, job type. You can see all the videos that we've done, the full build logs, the pictures that I'm overlaying here. All of this, along with the full job descriptions, are on there on the website, so go ahead and check it out. And like always, guys, I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the follow.
Until next time, peace.